cross by the river in the hills of Tennessee, and it lights the way to heaven for anyone to see. Come find your freedom at the mercy tree. There's a cross by the river in the hills of Tennessee. On the west side of the river, in a land so green and fair, there's a cross that's shining way up in the air. It stands for freedom and all that's right. It's a holy beacon lighting up the night. There's a cross by the river in the hills of Tennessee, and it lights the way to heaven for anyone to see. Oh, come find your freedom at the mercy tree. There's a cross by the river in the hills of Tennessee.
Designed a 48 foot tall, about 24 foot wide cross, and we illuminated it. Bulbs. We covered that face back up with an aluminum face and put exterior lighting on it so it would light up really nice.
And it lights the way to heaven for anyone to see. Oh, come find your freedom at the mercy tree. There's a cross by the river in the hills of Tennessee. Lord, light the way to the cross where I'm free. Oh, Lord, light the way.
And y'all church is engaged right now in taking on responsibility of this Crump Cross project. Is that right?
Well, we are kind of leading the renovation process. The cross has been here for a long time, and we didn't put it up. It was a member of Sharon Baptist Church. A family went to that church that originally put it up, and Sharon Baptist Church maintained it for years. But in recent years, it's kind of falling into disrepair, so and some other churches are joining us and refurbishing that, getting it kind of up to date.
You feel good about that?
Oh yeah, I'm excited. We're having fun with it.
Yeah, I understand.
Unfortunately, the cross has had some complications. Sometimes it hasn't been lit where you could see it at night, and it went into sort of some disrepair, and that's because Mike Brown, actually, he's no longer with us. Is that right?
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah. He was a member of the Sharon Baptist Church, and it was taken care of over the years. And then after Mike passed, they continued to look after it. And then as time went on and things changed, their missions went elsewhere and that sort of thing. And now for me, I've only lived in this community about 6 years now. I moved down here from just outside of Nashville, and so I have never seen it lit up internally, as they tell me it was in the beginning. But how many people have told me about how beautiful it was with all the internal lighting it had. I had never seen it actually lit externally until they were turned on. And I do want to mention Nathaniel Sparks. He turned those lights on, and so we've had it externally lit for a while. And I hadn't ever even seen that before, but I could see after people telling me about just how beautiful that cross could be with a total renovation.
Seeing the condition of the cross, Mr. Blankenship was troubled with his condition and had the passion to get something done to enhance that condition.
Yeah. And it was just not in good shape. So that troubled me, as I said in the beginning. These things, they need to be the brightest of your community. So I think, even though it's not popular these days, I'm still of God, country, and family. I love God and the Bible and all the Christian symbols. This country, I believe in the Constitution. I respect our flag, and I love my country. So when I see a Christian symbol or something, or even a Bible, it troubles me. I see an old ragged weathered flag. I have went to a couple of places and said, hey, can I help you change your flag out? It's, you know, we just forget, we get busy. It's nobody's fault. So that cross, that's what it hit me as, is I kept looking at it and thinking, I don't know whose it is or how it got there. I don't know anything about it other than it is very dirty. It's getting run down. And it had light fixtures, but no lights, things like that. And I guess it just got to me that here was this religious symbol and it wasn't being respected.
2019. When did this first start?
Well,
You start
a
noticing.
couple of years ago or so, I guess, that I got to thinking about it, and then probably, I don't know, February or so of 18, I thought, well, let me see if I can find out who it belongs to.
What was
Why
that
is it
process?
there?
What was that process like?
Well, I asked around and nobody knew. I asked several people and they said, yeah, we've had that cross there since I was a little child or this, that, but nobody ever knew. So my wife, she called the electric company and the utility record showed us where it belonged. One of the churches had been using it, and so I contacted the church, talked to one of the deacons, and he
That
was
was
very
what,
excited. Sharon Baptist Church. And I don't remember the deacon's name, but anyway, he was very eager to help me clean up the cross to see what we can do with it.
Okay.
But I felt that an individual did not need to own, control, or whatever that cross. It should be a community thing.
Okay.
So I went to my church, the Crump First Baptist, asked the congregation, they all agreed to accept the cross if I could get it going, that we would pay the light bill and take care of it and fix it, that sort of thing. So with that, the next thing I did, I went to the design team. I talked to Chris Pierce to find out he's the one who built it to start with, back some 18 years or so ago. And we talked about, I had even thought about just putting a paint job on it. We talked about recovering it with some new metal, things like that. And so as we got to talking about that, I went out and I talked to a few preachers and some churches, like, would you be interested in donating and helping, you know, to renovate the cross? And I seen quite a bit of interest. So I went back to Chris and I said, Chris, I may could get some money. What else could we do? So he came up with another plan, and this went on to finally, Chris decides that I have a budget. Everybody has a budget.
Yes.
And well, I was going to way exceed this budget except for Chris's generosity.
Okay.
He designed, he and his engineers designed the very latest technology in signs. It's sign technology with the LED programmable lightings, the new sheeting on the outside, the whole thing. And he made sure that stayed within my budget. So that's how we came to finally get to what we have today, which is the latest and greatest.
But before we go that far, though, there were some other obstacles.
Well, I was going to say, once I found that out, then I go and to find out who actually put the cross up and who owned it. And I found out that Mike and Brenda Brown, I think they had a construction company here. I never met these folks, but anyway, they had put it up. So I pulled some deeds and found some other records. And Leslie Greasy, the attorney, he helped me. I think he was Mike Brown's attorney, so he knew some stuff. He helped me pull some records to find out that Matt Brown, Mike's son, actually owned the cross.
Oh, okay.
Well, now we're getting somewhere. We actually had to know who owns it. So I go to Matt and ask him to lease it to the church for the purpose of maintenance and that sort of thing. But don't you know that part of the cross was over on state property, a state easement.
Okay.
That put a little bit of a stop, and I'm so ashamed. There's people that they'll do anything against Christianity.
Yeah.
They want to destroy the symbols. They want to just anything. Now this country is getting so divided with that. What's really sad is it's right here in Crump.
Yeah.
It's already been identified. There's already been complaints about that cross.
I heard a little something there while I was out talking to people that, and I mean, years ago, even if they didn't want it, they would have been ashamed
Yeah,
to say something publicly.
right.
I'm not ashamed to say I live in a Christian country. I love the fact that
Oh, I do
I
too.
live in a Christian country. But go ahead, but
You know, this country, almost word for word, the Constitution is written right out of the Bible. I mean, you know, you have to. So, but anyway, I didn't want to continue the project with that hanging over us like that. And so I had it surveyed, and then I worked with Glenn Spencer. He was the mayor then. He gave me contacts with the state, this and that. And the homeowner then, Jeff Kilburn, the easement was way up in his yard and he wanted it anyway. So we had to go through the process of the state had excess land, sales, that. It takes a lot to go through all the state departments to get the owner and everybody all together. So I did all the legwork to put everybody together. And then Jeff.
that sounds like a lot of fun.
Well, it's you just have to stay on it. Go over, you know, call and remind, that sort of thing. So once that was done, and it's all on private property, I find then further on in the deed that there's an easement for the cross that nobody can ever remove the cross. You can't block the cross. You can't even disturb the wiring going to the cross. And this all belongs to Matt Brown.
Okay, great.
And he has leased it to the Crump First Baptist Church for the purpose of maintenance.
Mm-hmm.
And so that brought it up to the point to where now we can really do something. Mm-hmm. And every time I would get closer to the project, that it looked like it was going to be real. I think there's a lot of people in the past have started this project, and it fell through at one place or another.
And I wanted to make mention, because I received a couple of names that people had put personally. So there were other folk that were interested in keeping it and seeing it up, but maybe they just didn't have the connection.
Wasn't hard-headed enough.
Yeah. You grabbed it like a bulldog.
I find that most things, it's not luck, it's not skill, it's just sticking with it till it's done.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I see you had some bulldog about you about staying with it, because a year and a half or 2 years, that's the time, especially for something that ain't no really personal gain in it for.
Well, the personal gain, Leon. When you're a Christian, when you're not a Christian, if you'll just admit the truth, God gives us a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, every day we're blessed with something. We don't have enough time left for me to tell you the blessings I've got. So, for personal gain out of this, man, it was just my privilege to be able to do something, to give back a little of what I had. Now, what we were talking about.
Was there ever a time that you got frustrated?
Well, no, I never did have a time to where I was frustrated and think that we just can't do this, because sometimes some things, depending on who tells me it, I won't take no for an answer, that sort of thing. I just knew you had to stick with it, stay with it, stay with it. I didn't expect it to take this long, but how would I know? I didn't know what I was getting into.
Did you expect it to take on the nature that it taken on and get the support that you did, and the top of that? Because at first you said you were just considering a pay job.
Well, yeah, we what could I afford to do?
Yeah.
I looked at what could I do personally?
Yeah.
I'm in aircraft maintenance. I can do painting and stuff. I think, well, I can bring my crew and do that.
Yeah.
But what else could we do if we really put this together? If the community got together, the churches got together, and they have. Churches have united, business people, individuals have. I'm still getting donations, and some very nice, large donations, some not. But it's the thing that everybody appreciates it, respects it, and contributes.
And there were several churches of the Shiloh Baptist Association, which made contributions, and I was able to talk with the director of mission, Mr. Russ Wilkins, and he shared with me his delight to have the churches of Shiloh participate.
Mission strategies. Right. The Shiloh Baptist Association.
Correct.
Of Hardin and McNairy County.
Correct.
Brother Russell, thank you for letting me come in and talk to you. But I'm on this project of the Crump Cross project, and you've been the churches. I understand of the association. Some of them getting involved in that project. What is your opinion about the Crump Cross project?
I think the Crump Cross project is a fantastic endeavor. I've come and driven through this way for years and years, and before I ever even had a tie to this area, that was always special.
Yeah,
It's something that really stands out.
What do you say anything particular about the Crump community? I mean, to me, it's I'm entering into at least a portion of territory that's God-fearing,
Right.
that love the Lord,
Right.
that's trying to display a symbol of God's love. Is that what it says to you?
I feel like it makes a statement.
Yeah, it makes a statement.
And as believers in Jesus, we're called to be different.
Yeah.
And I think if you have a community that has the cross, then you say, okay, well, this is a community that loves people, that cares about others. It just seems to immediately give a message that I think is an important message for others to receive.
And Crump is a little small community, but
Right.
that cross kind of displays a larger message in a sense.
Yeah. And in the location, I feel like strategic as well.
Yeah.
Because you feel like, well, it's coming from one side, it's as you enter into Crump, and from the other side is as you're going on to the river, and it's you don't really know where is it standing for.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like it's one small community. It feels like it's in an area, a large area.
Do you believe that cross says something to everyone, even non-believers as well?
I do. I think, from the foundation of our nation, I believe we were founded on Christian principles, but, I know that not everybody believes that. But as far back as our history goes, you look and you see, where people are buried, crosses.
Yeah.
And it's not just a symbol of death, but I think it's a symbol of hope,
Of our faith.
of our faith, absolutely. But you also look and as believers, we understand, that symbol of death is also a symbol of new life.
Yeah.
We understand that it took death for us to have a new life, to be a new creation.
Well, then, so you're proud that some of the churches of Shiloh Association are participating in the Crump Cross project?
Yes, I am.
Yeah.
Yes, I am.
From the director's office, we were able to go and catch up and have a sit-down one-on-one with Dr. Ken Story, pastor of First Baptist Crump, and he shared with us his thoughts, some historical facts on the cross and what it means to every
It didn't really
believer.
get popular until about maybe a century before Christ came. And the Romans realized that if you can make people suffer, you can punish criminals in a way where they are obviously suffering, and that's prolonged and it's public. They believed that was a deterrent to crime. So they didn't believe it would be good to people when they punished them. So that's why it became popular. And so when Jesus was crucified, people were actually accustomed to seeing crucifixions. Not every week, but it would happen occasionally. It was supposed to be reserved for the very worst of people.
Worst of criminals,
Which makes you wonder, how come Jesus was crucified? What he done? He's sinless. And even Pilate, the Roman governor, knew he didn't deserve that and tried to get Jesus excused from that. But the politicians and the financial people, and even religious leaders, they got together. These were people who didn't really like each other.
Yeah.
They had a lot of friction between them. They were kind of like the Democrats and Republicans now, fighting all the time, didn't agree on anything. But they finally agreed that they wanted to kill Jesus.
Yes, they
But
had
why-
a common. They had a
what
common
a great
enemy.
man. Why they wanted to kill him? Well, it's because he was so popular.
Yeah.
It's interesting, and when you read the history of the period, the Jews hated the Romans. They'd been conquered by the Roman Empire. So the people who lived in Palestine hated their conquerors, tried to not work with them, tried to obstruct them best they could. But the politicians learned there's money in being occupied as a territory. And so especially the high priest and the Sadducees, that was kind of the upper crust Jews, they worked out a deal with the Romans that we will keep the Jews under control. We'll see they pay their taxes, and they're not going to assassinate your soldiers, and they're not going to rob your wagon trains if you will let us help. And so the Romans let the high priest have his pick of whatever was profitable things to do. The Sadducees ran the concessions at the temple. If you came to worship at the temple, and you brought a sacrifice from home, you were going to give money or sacrifice an animal, the Sadducees would say, no, we can't let you give that old Roman money. That's corrupt pagan money. You got to exchange that for Hebrew money. And we're going to charge you a fee for changing your money from Roman to Hebrew to use at the worship place. And that sacrifice you brought's blemished. You can't use that, but we'll sell you one. So there was a lot of money in that going on. And so the Sadducees got the profits from all of that. Remember, Jesus overturned the money
I was
table
just for
and the
that.
changing
You
table.
think that had anything to do with Jesus?
Oh, yeah. This is a religious place, and Jesus said, y'all corrupted this place. It's just a profiteering kind of thing you're doing.
Yeah.
So the Sadducees, the high priest, and even the Pharisees who controlled the education system, most local politics, Jesus' popularity was putting them out of business. And they knew the Romans could see Jesus' popularity. And they were fearing the Romans are going to fire us. We're going to lose our control of the people.
I think the
We're gonna lose our
scriptures,
profits.
King James said, if we thus let him alone, the Romans should come and take both our place
Yeah.
in our nation.
They said the whole world's going after Jesus.
Yeah.
You know? So it was pure jealousy, or to defend the perks they were getting, that they wanted to kill Jesus. And they had decided a few weeks earlier, at least a few weeks earlier, to kill Jesus than the actual crucifixion. But it was the resurrection and the return to life of Lazarus that really did it.
Yep.
You know, this was
that was
main feast. Passover was the main feast of the year. Millions of Jews would come from around the world to Jerusalem for Passover. Bethany, which was a suburb of Jerusalem, was packed with thousands of people who witnessed the resurrection of Lazarus. Boy, that ignited a fire of faith in Jesus, and it was just exploded.
If we let him keep going,
The leader said, "Well, we got to stop this. We got to kill him." And why did they want to crucify him? Because it was a shameful death.
But
It's not enough just to get rid of him. We want his followers to be so ashamed of him, so embarrassed by him, they won't ever mention his name again. So they're going to kill him the way the worst criminals are killed, by crucifixion. That's why they did that.
And the cross, he had to die. He died on the cross, the most despicable way to die.
Right.
But
The best man, only sinless man, died in the way of a criminal. You know, and there's a lot of lessons here, but one of them is that everybody's a sinner. The people who killed Jesus were the leaders of the religion in Palestine, the Jews, the leaders of the military, the Romans, the leaders of the economy, the school teachers. The most respected people in the country are the ones who killed Jesus.
all the systems of the world, of the world at that time.
It tells you everybody needs to be saved. There's not anybody that's not a sinner.
But they all got together, and he died on the cross. But that in the song of the emblem, the cross was it became a in other words, it was despicable at one time.
Right.
But when Jesus died, it became an emblem.
Yeah.
Hope.
Well, think about the irony of that. Here we are. We're working on making this cross down here as attractive and visible as we possibly can. a shameful old cross on which people were crucified. Why do we do that? Because of Jesus. Can you imagine anybody holding up a hangman's noose and saying, "This is the sign of my faith"?
Yeah.
Or anybody wearing a replica of an electric chair or a chain around their neck saying, "This is..."
Same thing. It's the same. It's the same. It's the
Well,
same
that cross
thing.
is in that category.
Yeah.
It's such a shameful sign of wickedness, cruelty, and corruption, and yet today it's admired, and Christians are so proud of it.
I found that to be very true as I talked to several citizens in the surrounding area of Crump, Savannah, Adamsville. They seem to have a undying love for the cross there at Crump.
Absolutely priceless.
Think about all this cross business.
I love it.
I love it.
I think the cross is beautiful. I think it makes a statement to people that can be seen from a long ways away. And I am glad to see it here.
Is that a good thing?
It's a good testimony.
Good testimony.
Yeah, it's a symbol, and that's what it is. It's a symbol of hope.
I think it's absolutely beautiful. We come through there at night, it turns blue and then red and then white and different colors, and it's just beautiful. It catches your eye.
Yeah.
It's eye-catching.
And you come through there quite a bit, don't you?
Yes, every night.
Every night.
Every night.
Really? That cross was?
That's part of it. Yeah,
So you kind of glad to see it come back?
Well, of course. I'm glad to see an event like that come back. We need all the help we can get in this world.
That's right. I know that's right.
Yeah, more than that, really.
Yeah, but you think that's a wonderful thing,
No, it's absolutely priceless.
The Crump Cross Project?
I think it's awesome.
It is awesome.
Well, I think that's the most beautiful thing they've done for Crump or surrounding towns in a long time, and the way it's lit up, and it's a testimony, you know, within itself.
You can't leave Savannah and go to Adamsville without seeing it, and you think about Jesus when you see that, and so I think it can be a great witness to people that need the Lord, and to those of us that are saved, it's a good reminder.
I think to the lost is hope, and to those who are not lost, it's encouragement.
Okay, so you think it's a good thing that it's there?
It's a good thing. I seen them down there working.
Yeah.
I remember when they put it up. And
You think that's a good thing?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Good thing.
If you come through Savannah on Highway 64, pass over the river, there's a sight for you to see. It stands there like a beacon, it's always shining bright. The cross by the highway, it lights up the night. It has no words to speak, it just stands there tall and proud. But the message is clear, silent but loud, and the story is told about a man from Galilee who gave his life on the cross at a hill called Calvary. The cross is a symbol of what happened long ago, a testament of love, so we will always know. It touches everybody soul to cross by the river on Highway 64.